that we should ensure that these vehicles which are driving, these rent-a-car vehicles, should be penalized with heavy penalties, including jail penalties. The first thing I want to point out is speed governors in rent-a-cars. We find that tourists are speeding. They are turning turtles in the vehicle. You can't turn turtle if a vehicle is moving slow. So it is definitely they have been driving very fast and in a rash and negligent manner. Under Section 110, 1F of the Motor Vehicles Act, it empowers the government to make rules for regulating construction and equipment of motor vehicles. And because of this, Honorable Speaker, the Government of India has brought out rules, which is Rule 118, which contains provisions relating to speed governor. In 2015, the Government of India gave particulars of which vehicles were supposed to have speed governors, and they tried to bring an exemption. And then in 2017, they withdrew the exemption. The Supreme Court Committee on Road Safety Monitoring immediately directed that mandating the speed limit equipment to be devices to be fitted. And in this, I have seen that we have people who drive as if they come for races, either on highways, village roads, or even on the bridges when we see them driving at very, very obnoxious speeds. And I think, therefore, it is imperative that the government should implement and enforce the speed governor rule. It is not simply fitting them, because sometimes you have a certificate that it has been fitted, but after that they are disconnected and they continue to ply as if there is no speed governor. I am also told that certain speed governors, after fitment, after they are connected, still malfunction. My question is, what do you do to ensure this? Because this relates to safety of our passengers, safety of people walking on the road, safety of commuters, and safety of other vehicles. The second thing we have got is tourists who drive rashly, doing stunts and driving on beaches. I think first thing the government should do is direct these people who are giving these vehicles, rent-a-cars on hire, to have a list of do's and don'ts, because most of the people don't know. They just come, they have a license, and they don't know where they're supposed to go and where they're not supposed to go. If they're told about it, I think at least 50% of them will try to follow. But there's another thing. Unless you wield the stick, no one complies. And therefore, I believe, if you spare the rod, you spoil the child. Therefore, it is important that we should ensure that these vehicles which are driving, these rent-a-car vehicles, should be penalized with heavy penalties, including jail penalties, because if they are made to stay one day or one night in the jail, nobody will want to spend their holiday in a jail. And therefore, I believe that when you are rough and you are tough, you are bound to get action which they will make sure they comply. Is it not surprising that when our very same people who travel abroad, they drive vehicles abroad, they follow every rule in the book. They are so disciplined. But when they come here into India, they drive as if there is no tomorrow. Therefore, I believe that we have to be tough with them. Invariably, the owner ends up being summoned by the police. The owner is also being made liable along with this driver who disappears from the scene. And at the end, the owner suffers because his vehicle is damaged or completely destroyed. We also have cases of drunken driving. Now in drunken driving, it is twofold. One is the tourists who drive these cars, and also our own locals. Let us be honest about it. I had spoken about this drunken driving in the House, and I had pointed out that we need to enforce this rule to prevent drunken driving so that we don't have these accidents and fatalities on these roads. Imagine, I remember there was an incident where in a famous pub in Kandolim beach, a lady sat in the car completely drunk, started the car and just drove and knocked somebody down there. This is not, we don't send people, our children don't go out there to get knocked down by some drunken driver. And we don't want this to happen. And I had stated to this house, I made a suggestion, that when you are having these pubs operating in the night, you know you're giving them the excise license beyond certain hours for a fee, no problem. You also make sure that they pay a fee to keep your motor vehicle inspectors or police, so that you man this and make sure that these people are checked for alcohol. This does happen even in other parts of India, in Bangalore or in Bombay, wherever you go, in Delhi. There are police waiting outside the pub. You sit in the steering and they'll catch you. Ahead also they will check you. Otherwise, they feel that they are empowered and they are charged. And now I can stand on one leg. They can't even turn the wheel of that car. And they will hit somebody even at a start. So I believe that the government should be tough. Don't forgive anyone. Let him spend one night also in the jail. And nobody will then do it. Because they tell you, you look at it, go to any other place, they tell you, oh, the police is very strict. So they will go in a group. One doesn't drink, the others may drink. And that sober person is the one who will be the one who drives.